Well, welcome to this episode of the KATcast, where today we're talking about how some things in the 90s were kind of considered high-end and exotic and, had to have it, but it was way out of our price range. And now they're just kind of commonplace. I'll go first. Me.
You.
Just kidding. I was never any of those things.
There's truth in all joking.
Other than alive in the 90s.
I remember, and everyone wanted these, and like looking back on it, it's the most silly. You remember like bag phones?
Oh, yeah.
Or like car phones, you know what I mean? Yeah.
My uncle was a doctor and had one in his Audi, and
you
we
were
were just like
the coolest ever if you had a car or a bag phone, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember we'd peek in his window like this to look at it because they were like, don't you kids be touching that.
Yeah.
We won't.
Mid-90s, my wife and I had one phone. It was a bag phone. Well, I mean, we had the home phone, but one portable phone. It was the bag phone.
Yeah.
And each day before we left, it was like, okay, who's going to take this today? Remember, it's only for emergencies.
Did you say things like who's going to take the bag?
Because it's like $1,200 a minute or whatever.
Oh, they charge you a ridiculous price.
Insane,
but like for a mobile phone, you really didn't have cell phone. They did, but you're talking. They look like satellite phones. You know,
it was like this big. Okay,
and then you had an antenna as well.
Right,
you know
exactly.
what I mean?
Well, and not only that, I worked for a radio station. That more than one, actually, that when we used to do our live broadcast on location, remotes, as they're known in the business, that's what we did. We took that bag phone and we had an antenna. We put it up on the roof of the vehicle and, okay, and I'm live today from blah, blah, blah. And that was like, oh, my gosh, I can't believe we can do this now. How about that?
Wow.
My how far we've come.
Oh, yeah.
Now phones fit in your pocket. Can you believe it?
Although some people are going back to the sort of dumb phones and maybe a little bit bigger, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Just to make it, I think in some cases, just to make it maybe a little more inconvenient for them. So that they're not so joined at the hip with them, It's just
which isn't a bad thing. I feel like everyone's addicted to their phones. Maybe going back to something that doesn't alert you for everything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We didn't anticipate that back, 90s early. I was saying this earlier today, man. I cannot believe the 90s are like 30 plus years ago.
I know.
To me, it's like the 90s were last month.
So as somebody who graduated in 1996, trust me, I'm super hyper aware that it's been 30 years.
When you talk about the 90s, I would tell you, obviously, just technology in general has exploded. We got our first computer in like 1994.
Yeah.
And it was a used computer. I paid $600 for it.
Jeez.
I know.
And it wasn't even high-speed internet.
No, you gotta be kidding. It was a dial-up. You know what I mean? It was
Kids,
one of those
that was
deals.
back before you couldn't be on the internet and the phone at the same time. Typically, you had the same line. So if you were on the internet, your phone line was busy. And I know this because I sometimes was on the internet and my grandma would be like, I've been trying to call.
But it was so advanced. And, I remember even email, okay? I sent out like a test email out into I don't even know
you
where.
got mail.
Where it went. Yeah, well, no, I was never on AOL. I know that.
Okay.
But I sent out an email and I started getting basically spam back. That's what it was. But I was so pumped. I'm getting email back. Somebody's sending me email back. It was like, okay.
Someone in the world is out there.
Somebody recognizes me.
Billy's signing up for all the mail up lists just so he could, get his emails.
Little did we know what a millstone around our neck email would become,
Even DVD players back in the 90s, they were like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. You can find DVD players now for like $15. But you remember even some cars had it. You could put like multiple CDs in at a time.
Oh yeah.
Like the 12, like the rotating CDs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carousel, right?
I had one in my last vehicle. Yeah.
I was like you think about it now and because you're right. Like back in the day, you only had like one CD in there. When you saw someone load up a couple, you're like, what are you doing? This is amazing.
Very sci-fi.
I told Jordan a little while ago, the first, just in terms of, CDs, DVDs, the first CD player I ever bought, it was a big sort of table model, and it took one CD. It wasn't even like a multiple. It took one CD, and it was like maybe this big, and it cost me about $300. But I have a CD player now. So,
I'll never forget.
I was so amazed by it.
My RCA unskippable CD player. Although, even though it was labeled unskippable, right. It lied. It lied to you. Maybe it was less skippable, but it was not unskippable. You'd be hitting a bump on the bus.
Nah.
It messed up your music.
Well, when you were able to take them with you on the road, the portable CD players, forget it, man.
I know. Back in the day,
that was a game changer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So for us, it was a camcorder, video recorder. So my dad wanted one. It was 90, 91. And you might think, oh, of course, that's not uncommon. Most dads wanted one of those to record their children's progress and growth. And I was in basketball. I had a brother in marching band. My other brother was in karate and all this stuff, right? No. Dale wanted it because there was an albino deer on our property, and he thought it was the most amazing thing he ever saw and wanted to record the deer. So my brothers worked at Pop and Go Video, and next to that was the Entertainer. So my dad was like, boy, what kind of deal can you get on one of these things? All right, so this thing was so big. It looked like my dad worked for KRCG, the news.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
I mean, it was massive, and he had the case for it and everything. And I mean, he did everything but basically polish that thing, and it was all to capture deer and then later turkey.
We had one of those big honking cameras, and we used to take them to school for the kids' plays and whatnot like that. Mm-hmm. And I did finally get one Father's Day. I got one of the smaller Sony cams. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
And it took high 8 film. They're little cartridges.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I have 100 of those at home, and I haven't seen them in years because I don't have anything that can play them.
Yeah.
The player itself died. I mean, the camera itself died. So one of these days, I'm going to have to get something that can actually play those and maybe convert them to something viewable now.
Is that why you need my
her VCR?
My VCR?
Yeah.
I still have that.
That's what my dad did.
I borrowed Erin's VCR. She goes, just hang on to it however long you need. And I wasn't doing anything with it, so my wife says, no, you have to get that back to Erin. She said it's okay. She goes, no, you have to get it back to me.
I tell you what, how about I sell it to you?
$5.
Yeah.
Then I'm rid of it. Okay.
No, my dad had one of those exact same cameras, and he ended up transferring all the film onto a flash drive.
Right.
Speaking of that, even little what do they call them? Those little flash drives you plug into a computer. You know what I mean? You've ever back in the 90s, you could get a gigabyte one, and they were not only rare, very expensive. Talking these days we have 3 terabyte drives.
Yes.
Okay, a gig. Yes. You had a gig thumb drive.
You know
is the word I was looking for.
We didn't even know how to pronounce gigabytes because in Back to the Future he says gigabyte.
Gigawatt.
He says gigawatts. That's how unfamiliar with
gigabyte.
Right, with that concept we were. We didn't even know how to say it right yet.
Are you sure that he didn't say it
right?
Well,
it was Doc Brown, so it's possible. Yeah, he was. We're talking about things from the 90s that were considered advanced and wow, how futuristic. And now we look back and go, you know what? I mean, it's funny. Somebody mentioned, Young Sheldon is based in the 90s.
It is. Mm-hmm.
And there was an episode where they got a 27-inch TV.
Ooh. Yeah.
And they were so amazed by it. They just couldn't take their eyes off it. Our living room TV now is a 65-inch. And we replaced the 50-inch, which went into the bedroom. I remember not all that many years ago, we bought a 35-inch TV, and we were like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine us getting a TV any bigger than this. This is massive. Look at this,
I remember my dad spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on
an arms race.
Ginormous, boxy brown TV. I mean, it was massive. It took up most of the living room.
It's a console TV.
Yeah, it was a console TV.
My parents had one,
I grew up with those, yes.
And I remember, you at the time, it was amazing. But I remember it's that thing, it was maybe 340p. You know what I mean? It had the worst, or it didn't even go up. Maybe at max it was 720p. I don't even think so.
I had one that when my grandmother passed away, I got the TV that she had in her bedroom. So, and this is not an exaggeration. I would turn it on, pull the little dial, and you'd wait. And the screen would be totally black.
Right.
About 5 minutes later, you would hear sound.
Right.
5 minutes after that, a teeny tiny dot would appear on the screen and then slowly
grow.
get better.
Yes.
Like it had to get warmed
Yeah,
up.
It was an old tube TV.
Oh my
That's
God.
why.
Yeah.
We had those growing up, and I'm telling you, we had them inside the cabinet that was basically furniture because there was also a record player on top. You open the top, and there's a turntable, a record player in there. Giant, well, when I say giant, but, side speakers.
Yeah.
Beautiful furniture, but it was a TV that you could count on breaking once every few months, My uncle was a TV repairman, so we always counted on Uncle Al. Whenever he came by, he always brought extra tubes and everything because he fixed all the relatives' TVs.
They
when he
made those
visited.
things like ridiculously big, though. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's like compared to like the size of the screen.
Sure.
You're like, did the speakers need to be like? It's like if we shorten the speakers a little bit, we could get more screen.
So my TV wasn't as elaborate as yours. It didn't have, a turntable and 8-track and all this other stuff on it. But my friends were just like, dude, why does it take so long? I'm like, I don't know, because it's old.
I love the camera thing too, because back in even like digital cameras were kind of a luxury back in the day. I remember, really, my family we'd get like those disposable cameras.
Well, for us, that was a luxury.
It's like you can take like 40 pictures, then go get it developed or whatever
in an hour.
We had an we had a it was a regular camera. Take a picture. You have to take the pictures of Photomat, get them developed, or the drugstore or wherever.
Right.
Get them developed. Maybe you got to wait a few days for that. That was horrible.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't believe I have to wait a few days to see these pictures. Sorry, we got to wait for them to come back from the developers.
That's the thing. Half the time, you took all these photos and you're like, you don't really know how until you get them developed, you don't know how they came out.
Half the time, you would get pictures back and be like, why did I take a picture of that again?
Yeah.
What is this supposed to be?
His eyes are closed.
But there was no instant knowing, do we need to retake it? You kind of just took a couple to
how
make
do we
sure.
take pictures down? All right, let's go again. All right, let's go again. Until we get the one we want.
Yeah. Back in the day, you had no idea. It was a gamble. You're like, half the family's eyes are closed with this one, This
is going to be the best we get right here. This is it, man.
This is the Christmas card.
And there's no photoshopping.
Pagers back in the day? Pagers were a huge thing, too. That was like the cell phone before the cell phone.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, I had one like early 2000, and it was my then boyfriend who insisted I get a pager. It wasn't like I was a doctor or anything cool.
Or a drug dealer.
No. I worked in retail. Why did I need a pager? I didn't.
Don't forget groceries. One. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes you just use a little code,
yes.
82. Okay, I know what 82 is. Instead of typing everything.
Or if you put in a code, it would pop up a little message on the screen. Miss you. Or love you.
Heck, caller
or
ID
call
back
me.
in the day was like, really a luxury because otherwise you kind of just like, who's calling me? I don't know.
It's
you
like
just
the
kinda,
Wild Wild West.
Hello?
You don't know. Yeah.
Or you could also do S8008 and turn upside down. It says boobs. Simple pleasure. You know what I mean?
Do that with any calculator, kids.
But see, when I was a kid, though, like everyone thought I was my mom. I'd answer the phone and they'd think I was my mom. So like, sometimes like her friends would just start into a story, and I'm like, let me go get my mom. You know what I mean? It's like,
so I sounded like this from the time I was about 4 or 5. So my mom had a strict don't answer the phone policy for me because like people would just unload because they thought I was an adult.
Right.
If they were trying to sell me something, if they were trying to, they would just go on and on. I'd just be like, okay. I mean, because I didn't know what I was agreeing to.
Yeah.
So my mom's like, you're just not going to answer the phone anymore. Okay. If we can't quite get to it, it's okay. You just let it ring. Don't worry.
I've told you guys this story multiple times. When I was a kid, I had a high-pitched voice, and I'd answer the phone. Hello? Is your dad home? No, he's not. Well, who's this? This is Kevin. All right, Karen, will you tell your dad? I go, not Karen. Kevin, I'm a boy. So,
how things don't quite change.
I'm telling you. We're talking about things from way back, mostly in the 90s. We're talking about, we can expand beyond that, where that were kind of amazing then and now are kind of commonplace. I will tell you guys, I don't think I ever told you this. In fact, my wife reminded me of this. Netflix.
Yeah.
We were one of the first test subjects with Netflix.
Really?
When it was the envelope.
Yeah.
You know, when I used to send the...
a disc in an envelope,
Yeah. And then you keep it, and then when you're all done with it, you send it back.
Send it back, and they send you what you wanted next.
Right. And we had somebody had gotten in touch with us at the radio station I was working at. Hey, would you be interested? Yeah. So it was like we were getting these Netflix things, and it was amazing. So I forgot about this. She reminded me of that. That was long before streaming or anything. It was just discs.
Yeah.
They would arrive in the mail, in the envelope. Mm-hmm. You put your queue together of the movies that you want so that it knows when you send that movie back, the next movie on your list is going to arrive.
And back in the early days, too, they didn't even have like hard cases to put it in. It was literally a cloth sleeve.
Yeah.
You just and you'd know, you're like, ooh, I'm one of the last people to get this. It was all like crinkled and crumbled and had all sorts of gunk on it. You're like, whoa, this one's been used a little bit.
That's crazy.
I remember too, like my friends, like before we had like satellite dish on our house, you know, I remember I'm like, oh, they got one. And then you're like, oh, there's hundreds of channels, man. Like instead of just the local channels.
So
you know what I mean?
My parents when they got a satellite dish. Now keep in mind, I had graduated high school at that point when my dad finally came and said, okay. And we were one of the last people I knew of that got one of the giant
ones is what I'm talking about.
Satellite dishes. Like us kids were like, you think we could sit in there? We could sit in there, right?
I just always remember seeing that as a kid. I was, that's a luxury house right there. They got the satellite dish.
Yeah.
Those people are living large, man. You know?
Yeah.
And there's still nothing to watch on TV.
I think we got the last one in the state of Missouri. It was out there forever.
We got. I was living in New Jersey. I was still at home with my folks, but this was like 81, I guess. We got cable for the first time, and the cable to me was amazing because, again, you just flip through how many hundreds of channels. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like what Jordan said. Even then, there was a whole lot of garbage on. You know.
Yeah.
So.
It seemed like it was always like that. It was very strict times of like, all right, 7 o'clock to 10, probably going to get some pretty cool movies. But then all of a sudden you're like, well...
What kind of movies were you looking for, Jordan?
No. That's what I mean. At nighttime, it was that kind of situation.
I will tell you,
during the morning, it's just
Cinemax.
nothing but... Yeah,
right. Cinemax, they had all the squiggly, wavy lines on it. But if you watch real carefully, I saw something. Wow. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, the stuff you settled for back then, man. You know, but again, you were young and adolescent, and
I like how all
anything worked at that point.
All the TVs back in the day too made a noise. You know, I had that like real high pitched ring. Like you turn, like I knew when someone had a TV on in the house. Like my ears were like tuned to that frequency. I could hear the TV on. Like now you walk in a room, you don't know if there's screens everywhere. I can't hear them though. Yeah. Can you imagine if you could still hear them like you could back then?
I don't know if this is exactly, falls into the category of like, luxury, things that were like, woo. But in the 80s and 90s, kids, you knew when it was the end of the day for that TV channel because they would broadcast the Star Spangled Banner.
Uh-huh.
You'd see the flag waving. Yep. And then there'd be a quick message. This concludes our broadcast day.
Yeah.
And then it would go to like that all kind of colorful screen with the squares. And that was it.
Yeah.
When TV stations used to sign off, in some cases they had like an Indian head with the headdress and everything and the test pattern and everything.
Yep.
But I remember that. And then the next morning, we now begin our broadcast day. Ba, 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 ba.
Yeah.
Wonder how many kids fell asleep and woke up to just the oh, it's over.
I will tell you something really crazy that in high school we did this. Now you got to remember, I grew up in New Jersey, just a stone's throw from Philadelphia. So we used to be able to, take the train and whatever into the city. City Hall had this bank of phones. These are pay phones, okay? And what would happen was you could dial a certain number, and it was a test number for the phone company is what it was. But you'd get all these kids on there all at the same time, and they could all get into this one or two numbers, and we're talking to each other free. But there was a beep going. It was like a busy signal. So you dial a number, you hear, but you could talk in between. So it was like, hey, who is this?
Wow. How bored were you?
But then I remember once, a whole bunch of us were all talking. We gave ourselves nicknames. It was like this weird little phone freak club. Okay. Yeah. And then we hear this grown-up voice come on say, hey, kids, I got to do a couple things on this line here, so I need you to hang on give me about 10 minutes. So, okay. And we all hang up, and then he does this thing, and then we go back and, hey, are you back?
Wow. Oh, my God.
You know, I remember, so in the neighborhood, like, we finally got a cordless phone, okay? And there would be times where, like, I'd be chatting, talking to one of my buddies or something like that, but I would pick up someone else's signal. So then all of a sudden, like every once in a while, I'd hear someone like else's conversation. And so what we'd sometimes do is we'd try to find like the location that it kind of would happen, kind of angle yourself to where and then we'd like listen in on people's phone conversations.
It's the frequency. That's why. What frequency?
It was the frequency. So you would hear it. Oh, the niece ain't having too good of a day.
So growing up, we had a party line.
Yeah.
So we shared a phone line with several neighbors. So it was not uncommon that, one of our neighbors, she was a chatterbox, and she was an older lady. And so
that was her connection to the world there.
Yeah, we'd go to pick up the phone and make a call one of our friends or something, and we'd hear Blanche. Okay, so we'd, hang up, try again in like 10 minutes. Blanche is still going.
Blanche is still going, huh?
Yeah, so we would just sit there after a while and just be like,
listen in.
We didn't have anything else to do. We couldn't use the phone.
What's the latest tea from Blanche?
That's right. What's going on in Blanche's world?
Blanche world.
Are you breathing heavy? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, we're talking about, there's a big part of nostalgia here, obviously, and technology and things that were considered cool at one time or another. And now it's kind of old. I cannot imagine. Well, you know what's funny? We never had a party line in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
I was born in the dark ages, and we never had a party line for. I guess it was maybe a little more because I've always, for the most part, grown up in a pretty metropolitan area.
We's out in the country.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I suppose you had to do that. But
I was going to say, can you imagine if you had a party line and you're like, all right, well, so many thousands of people all in one area. Be like, get off the phone. I need to use it.
Every once in a while, my dad would be like, yeah, Blanche, I'm expecting a call, here in the next 10 minutes or so. Could you clear the line?
Would you hang up for your dad?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, but it was not uncommon.
Did you know where Blanche lived?
Oh, yeah.
So would you be able to knock on her door? Hey, Blanche, will you get off the phone?
My brother did yard work for her.
Okay.
And we would always go down there for Halloween, and she'd make homemade popcorn balls. And they would always be either amazing, like the best thing you ever had, or hard as a rock. And she always wanted us to try them when we were there. So when they were hard as a rock, you're like,
they're great, Blanche.
You're super, Blanche.
Delicious. Mm.
Oh, my gosh. It's great. Well, if you ever want to shoot us an email, if you got some thoughts of your own on this stuff, I'd love to hear. What are you nostalgic about? What do you remember, technology-wise or otherwise, growing up? Jordan, what's the email address?
That is catcountry@mailzimmer.com. So shoot us an email, and we'd love to chat.
And, of course, we would love for you to subscribe as well. Wherever you're watching or listening to this from, hit the subscribe button. And we thank you for joining us for this edition of the Cat Country KATcast.